Hello and welcome to EveryDadDIY. I'm Gavin. Today we're going to be taking a look at this USB soldering iron. I seen this on Amazon and I was actually looking for something to solder kind of small components, and this looks like it might work for it, so I picked it up. It was very cheap. I actually can't remember off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. So yeah, it's a USB soldering iron. It's 8 watts. I've had it out. I had a look at it already. It's actually not too bad. It's made by a company called Silverline, and apparently it has a 3-year warranty, or guarantee rather. So let's pull it out there and I'll show you what's in the box. So it comes with a little stand. It comes with the USB cable itself. It's got a Type A on one side and a kind of a 3.5mm jack on the other side. We get a small bit of solder as well, and then we get the soldering iron itself. So looking at it, there's a little metal piece here. I assume you keep your finger on that to keep it going. It's got a little cap on it. And so that's the soldering iron itself. That's the little tip on it. As you can see, it's quite a fine little tip on it. There is some solder on it. As I say, I already had it out, so that's why that's there. So it's actually not that big. It's so that's a Sharpie. So it's not that much bigger than a Sharpie. You have the little jack here on the end. It's supposed to heat up, I think, in about 30 seconds or so. Connects to USB ports. You can connect it to a PC, Mac, basically anything with a USB port. Fine soldering tip. On the go repair. Heats up in 15 seconds and cools down in 30 seconds. The temperature range is between 380 and 420 degrees Celsius. Okay, so I've got it set up here then. I've got it set up with a little display here that tells me how many volts and amps it's using. So at the moment it's obviously using 0 amps because it's in sleep mode. It's sitting there at 5 volts, 5.18 volts, so there's 5 volts available for it. So I'm going to pick it up now and we're going to see if it can melt this. I think it's 1mm solder. So it says it takes 15 seconds for it to heat up. So I'm going to pick it up now and we'll see if 15 seconds is enough. So it looked like it took it a second there to realize I'd picked it up, so I'm just going to give it an extra couple of seconds. So that there's 15 seconds now, and it is starting to melt it. Now I'd say it's consistently melting it. So after about 20 seconds it was consistently able to melt it. After about 15 it was hot enough to start melting a little bit. So it looks like it draws 1.14 amps at 3.78 volts. Let's do some soldering with it then and see what it's like. Okay, so I've got a little board here that I've set up. I actually don't know what this board does. It's got some LEDs on it and a few different components, capacitors, resistors. This is a microphone, so I'm assuming it's some sort of clap lights. When you clap or make noise, the lights light up. I actually bought it in a little kit a couple of years ago and I just found it in the drawer there, so I said that's a good time to test out the little soldering iron. So I think this would be an ideal little job for it if you're putting together a little solder or little boards or whatever. It'd be ideal for doing something like that. If you're doing something large, I can't imagine this would be a great tool to use, but I think for something like this it should be fairly ideal. Okay, so I'm finished playing about with it there now. So as you see, I had a go at soldering all these little components onto this board. It worked quite well for doing that. Went, you know, leg by leg without much effort, to be honest. A little bit slower obviously than using a, you know, something with a larger tip and like one that's powered by mains, but you'd expect out of something that's so low powered. When it came to desoldering these little things, it was okay. Again, it will melt solder leg by leg, no problem. When it comes to like larger clumps of solder, you know, where you might have made a trace or a track with solder, it wasn't able to melt that. There's just too much solder for it to be able to heat up. But yeah, that's probably a bit unfair doing that with it anyway, to be honest. It's really only a fine tip on it, and it should probably only be used for doing something small like this. So yeah, if you're putting together small circuit boards, or you need something to do like maybe a small SMD part or something like that, I think it's worth picking up. They're quite cheap and they work quite well. If you're going to be doing anything bigger than that, or you know, you need something that's able to put down a lot of heat, it's not going to be the one for you. So the choice is yours whether it's going to suit your needs or not. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, so I promised at the end we'd test this out and see what exactly it does. So I have it plugged into 5 volts here. Just going to turn on some music. So it's just a simple little circuit that reacts to sound and flashes the lights. Yeah, so it's an interesting little circuit.